So you will be using the flower brackets to create the dictionaries. Python dictionaries are the collection of sum of key value pairs. So dictionaries.keys will give me all the keys that I have in the dictionaries. Its keys must be a non-mutable type. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the first session on dictionaries. It's a very important chapter. In fact, we have a lot to learn in this chapter. Without wasting much of your time, let's get into the session. What is that I will discuss in this session? I will discuss what exactly the dictionary is in Python, and also I will discuss how do we create this dictionaries. What are the basic steps that we have to create the dictionaries? Along with that, accessing an element in the dictionaries. So fine, we have already created, then how do we access each and every element that I have inside the dictionaries is what I will be teaching in this session, right? The next one is traversing a dictionary. What is the meaning of traversing a dictionary? Same thing like what we did in strings, lists and tuples. We will be visiting each and every element that we have inside the dictionaries is what we will be calling it as a traversing a dictionary. And the next concept, accessing a key or values simultaneously. If I explain all these things, if I speak about all these things, you feel like watching a Chinese movie without subtitle, right? What is dictionary? Dictionary in the sense like the first thing that it will come to your mind that the words, whatever the meaning that you have. So don't think that that is not the dictionary that I'm going to speak here, right? So guys, I have many more topics that I will be discussing in this session, right? I'll not be discussing all these things right now. So let me start this session and then I'll come back, right? So guys, the first thing that I have is dictionaries in Python. What exactly dictionaries in Python are? Can you just come to the topic a little quickly, right? So guys, have patience, but listen to me carefully. We have a pair of key and value. I repeat for all of you, we have a pair of key and value. What exactly the pair of key and value? Say for example, I have key and value. So this is what I will call it as a pair. Key and value. A pair of key and value, which is enclosed between flower brackets. Point number one that you have to remember, right? Let me go back and explain something else. If I speak about list, what will come to your mind? It should come to your mind that is square bracket. Square bracket should come to your mind, which is the bracket that you will use if I say or if I speak about list, square bracket. If I speak about tuples, what will come to your mind? So small parenthesis should come to your mind. In the same way, if I speak about dictionary, so what is that will come to your mind? So please remember, you will be using the flower brackets. First point that you have to remember, if I speak about the dictionary, that is flower brackets. I repeat for all of you, so you will be using the flower brackets to create the dictionaries, right? So I understood about the flower brackets. What is that I will have inside the flower bracket? So inside the flower bracket, I will have a pair of key, values, okay? So pair of key and values. So like this pair, I can have n number of pairs inside this flower bracket, okay? So I can have n number of key and values pair inside the flower brackets. This is the brief introduction that I would like to give all of you with respect to the dictionaries, right? Python dictionaries are the collection of sum of key value pairs. Point number one, right? Dictionaries are mutable. Please make a note of it. Dictionaries are mutable. Mutable in the sense what? So whatever the data that I have, I can change. But when it comes to tuple, I'm not supposed to change. I cannot change because tuples are immutable. But lists are not like that. Whatever the content that I have in the list, I can change. But inside the tuple, I cannot. In the same way, when it comes to the dictionary, I can change the content whatever I have inside the dictionary. I will take an example and I'll explain all those things. As of now, you just have to understand dictionaries are mutable. Point number one, inside the dictionaries, you will have a pair of key and value point number 2, you have to remember dictionaries are mutable, right? Very important, unordered collection with the elements in the form of key and value pairs. What exactly it means are, you cannot or you will not get the data whatever you have inside the dictionaries in the order set. That is what the meaning. So it is not mandatory to have the data inside the dictionary in an ordered set, right? That is what the meaning. So that is what they have mentioned it as, unordered collection of pair of key and values. It is need not to have the pair of values in the ascending order or in the descending order. You can have it however you want. So that is the meaning of the second point that you need to understand, right? So moving on to the next one. So this is the syntax to create the dictionaries. So please understand, what is the first thing that I have to write? I have to write the name of the dictionary. So let's check. Suppose, how do I create the list? So I have to write the name of the list. Then I have to write the square brackets. I have to write the square brackets. How do I create the tuple? I have to write the name of the tuple is equal to, I have to write the parenthesis. Then how do I create the dictionary? I have to write the name of the dictionary and then I have to write the flower brackets. But the speciality of dictionary is, listen here, I have key as well as values. These two things I will call it as one pair. These two things I will call it as one pair of key and values. So like this, I can have n number of pairs inside the dictionaries. Observe here, I am using the comma. I'm using the comma. Let's take an example. Look here, the name of the dictionary is teachers. Name of the dictionary is teachers. So the first one, always it will be key. Always the first one is, it will be key. Please understand. So dimple is the key. So since that is a string, I am enclosing it with the quotes. So some of you will write like this. So what is that? So you will enclose the quotes for this as well as this. Since I told you this is a pair of key and value, you're not supposed to do like that. For key separately you have to enclose it, then after that you have to write the colon, then after that you have to enclose the value separately. So that is very important that you need to understand. Most of my students have seen, like, what they'll do is they'll enclose the quotes here, right, for both the key and value, but not supposed to do like that. Separately you have to enclose it for key as well as for the value. So this is the first pair that I have. After that I have used comma. Then I have the second pair here. This is what I will call it as key. This is what I will call it as value. The same way, key, value. I have how many pairs? I have 2 pairs. Can I have n number of pairs? Of course you can have n number of pairs. So this is how I will be creating the dictionaries, right? So hope you got the basic knowledge, like, how do you create the dictionary? Yeah, moving on to the next one. Accessing an element in a dictionary. So how do we access it, right? So please look at the syntax that I have. Dictionary name with the key. How do you access it? Dictionary name with the key. Let's check what is that I have. In dictionaries, the elements are accessed through the key defined in the key and value pairs. What exactly it means? Say for example, here I have the dictionary. Let me just erase it. Right, I have the dictionary name as teachers, right? I have Dimple, computer science, right? So the point, very important point that all of you should remember, always my key, whatever I have, using this key, I will be accessing the value. What did I say? Using this key, I will be accessing the value. So how it is possible, sir? Yes, it is possible because all the keys, whatever I will have inside the dictionaries, it should be unique. It should be unique. I cannot have 2 dimples here inside the tuple. Is it tuple or dictionary? Dictionaries. That's what you need to remember. So since my key is unique, so using these keys, I will be accessing the values. So please observe here, I have to give the dictionary name. So in the brackets, I have to give the key, right? This is how I will be accessing the value, right? So please observe here, I have to give the dictionary name. So in the brackets, I have to give the key, right? This is how I will be accessing the value, right? So please observe here, I have to give the dictionary name. So in the brackets, I have to give the key, right? This is how I will be accessing the value, right? Moving on to the next one, take an example. So how do we access that, right? Teachers is a dictionary name and current is a key, right? Look back to the example that we have. So please observe, this is the key that I have. So what is the syntax that we have? So current is a key that I have given. So what will be the result? Sociology is a value that I am able to extracting. So with the help of this syntax, this is what you need to understand, right? So moving on to the next one. So guys, traversing, I think I don't have to speak much about it because it remains same in the list, tuples as well as in the dictionaries also. I will be using the for loop to access each and every pair of key and values whatever I have in the dictionary. Same syntax. Please go back and check what we have done with respect to tuples, lists and also strings. So in the same way we use the same thing, right? What we are using for lists and tuples, same thing we are using for dictionaries also. Moving on to the next one that we have, guys, please understand. So I have two functions here. I'm using two functions. One is keys, another one is value. What exactly it is? So dictionaries.keys will give me all the keys that I have in the dictionaries. Dictionary name.keys will give me all the keys whatever I have in the dictionaries, only keys. It will not give me the values. Suppose if I want only values whatever I have inside the dictionaries, I will be using dictionary name.values. So that will give me only the values whatever I have in the dictionaries is what you need to understand with this function. Please remember this. Please make a note of this. Right? Moving on to the next one. This is what the example that I was speaking. Guys, you have d.keys and dictionary.values, that is d.values. So this function will give you only the keys. This function will give you only the values. So this is what you need to understand. d.keys, d.values. Values you have to use. That's a function name, right? Characteristics of dictionaries. What is the meaning of it? It's very important that we need to understand how exactly the dictionaries are behaving. What is the point that I have to understand with respect to dictionaries before I use it? It's very important, right? Let's understand that one by one. So what is the first thing that I have? This point I have already discussed. You will have the pair of key and values in unordered set. You don't have to expect the pair of key and value in the ordered set, is what you need to understand. The second point that we have is, unlike the string, lists and tuples, dictionaries is not a sequence because it is unordered set of elements. This is already we have discussed. Dictionaries are indexed by keys. Please remember, this is very, very important. Dictionaries are indexed by keys and its keys must be a non-mutable type. What is the meaning of it? If I have a dictionary, I will have the pair of key and values. I will be able to change the value, but I am not supposed to change the key whatever I have in the dictionary. That is what they are claiming. The keys are non-mutable. You cannot change the key value, key, whatever you have. You cannot replace the key. That is what they are claiming in this point. But it is not like the same thing with value. Whatever the value that you wanted to change, you can change. That's why we call it as dictionaries are mutable. I repeat, whatever the keys that I have inside the dictionary, I am not supposed to change and I will not be able to do it. But when it comes to value, I can change the value. I can update the value. So since I can update the value, I will call dictionaries as mutable. But when it comes to key, I'm not supposed to change because I will be accessing the value with the help of keys, is what you need to remember, right? So moving on to the next point. So each keys within a dictionary must be unique. I've already explained this point. Each key, whatever you are using inside the dictionaries, must be unique. You cannot have the same key more than one time in the dictionary. Why? Because I will be accessing each and every value inside the dictionaries with the help of key, is what you need to remember. That's an important point. So please make a note of it. Moving on to the next one. I have the next topic, characteristics of dictionaries. In that I have a next topic. Please understand, like list, dictionaries also mutable. We can change the value of certain keys in the place using the existing assignment statements. Please observe here. This is how I will be changing the value for a particular given key. Say for example, I have dictionary teachers. Okay, the dictionary name, I'll just take it as teachers since I had taken in the previous example, right? So what is the key that I have? I have Karan, right? So I had Karan. Okay, so I can just give whatever the value that I have. I want, I'll just give Kaushik. Okay, so this is what I will give. So for this key, so this value will be updated now. This I can do it, right? So that's what they are trying to explain you all, right? Moving on to the next one, next point. I'll just erase it for all of you. The next point that I have is the key value pairs of a dictionaries are associated with one another with some internal function. Whatever the pair of key and value that you have, so both the values, that is key and value, are associated each other, so internally. So that is what we call it as mapping. That is what we call it as mapping, is what you need to understand. How exactly with the help of key you are able to access the value. So both key and value are internally associated with the help of some function. So that is what we call it as mapping. That is what we call it as mapping, right? That is what you need to remember. The next one is initializing the dictionaries. How do I initialize the dictionary? How do I store the values or the keys inside the dictionaries is what we call it as the initialization of dictionaries, right? So let's have a look. So I will be having the name of the dictionaries. So the name of the dictionaries is employee. Then after that, I have to write the assignment operator. So I will be starting my dictionary with the help of the curly brackets. Please remember, so this is the key and this is the value. So this, both key and value, is what I will call it as one pair. I will call it as one pair. So both key and value is associated with each other with the concept of mapping. With the concept of mapping is what you need to understand, right? So after that I have comma. So you are using single quotes, but in the previous example you have used double quotes. Of course I can use single quotes as well as double quotes. Both the quotes shares the same meaning in Python, right? So guys, I have comma, then after that again I have the next pair of values. So you told each key and value you have to enclose it with the quote, but when it comes to this number you have not. Of course I don't have to enclose it with the quotes for integers. Only for the strings I will be doing it. Apart from the strings, I'll not be enclosing with the quotes, is what you need to remember. That's why intentionally I've taken that example, right? And after that I have the third pair, that is H, and then I have given the H. Then I will close it with a flower bracket. This is how I will be creating, or I will be initializing the dictionaries, right? Moving on to the next one that I have, adding a key values part to an empty dictionaries, right? How do I add the values to the empty dictionaries? So guys, the first one that you need to remember is, in this method, firstly an empty dictionary is created. What did I say? So guys, adding the key value parts to an empty dictionary. I have created the empty dictionary. I have to add the pair of key and value. How do I do that? Please listen to me carefully. The first thing that I have to do is I have to create the empty dictionary. I have to create the empty dictionary. So fine, I have created the empty dictionary. Then to create an empty dictionary, there are two ways: by giving the dictionary content by using the constructor dictionary. What is the meaning of constructor dictionary? So guys, do you remember we used something like tuples, right? So this is a function that we use to create the tuple. In the same way, we have something called list to create the empty list, right? In the same way, I have dictionaries. I have dictionaries. I'll be discussing that Even for the dictionary also, I have some function. So what is that function? I will be discussing that with an example, right? So just now listen to me carefully. I will also have the function to create the empty dictionaries, is what you need to understand. That is what I will call it as dictionary constructor. That is what I will call it as constructor dictionary or dictionary constructor. So with the help of that, I will be creating the empty dictionary. So fine. What is that dictionary, sir? What is that constructor? I'll discuss that. Okay, so to add a key and value pair, so please remember one at a time as per the syntax. I will be doing that. So dictionary name, and you will give the key and is equal to value. What is that? Let's take teacher. Okay, teacher. So let's write Kaushik is a key that I am giving. Okay, value is computer science. Right, so this is the value. So this is how I will be adding the pair of key and value to the dictionary one by one. Right, so guys, assignment that I would like to give all of you is, so what is the function that I will be using to create the dictionaries? So please comment on the comment box if you have liked it. If you have learned something in this session, please click on the like button, share. Till then, take care. Bye bye. I will see you in the next session. Till then, take care. Bye bye. See you guys.